Bluff City Media presents the No Bluffing Podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Christian Ingram and Evan Hayes. Now, let's get to the show.
Grizz Nation, what's going on? I am Chris Ingram.
And I'm Evan Hayes.
And this is the No Bluffing Podcast, where we keep it all the way real, all the way raw, and all the way honest about everything Grizzlies. Glad to be back for another week. My camera decides to straighten up. I know I'll be moving around, and he'd be like tripping, but it's all good. We in the building, man. We're going to get it together. Evan, my guy, what's going on, man? How was your week? What's going on in your world, man? Give me some good news.
It was a interesting week. This is my first time. Technically, if y'all don't know, this was spring break, but this is my first time actually not going home for spring break because being a Division I athlete, we don't get that luxury so I wasn't used to that on the NAIA level, so that was kind of different. Not going home, seeing the fam, but just been getting work done. Just working out. I was on Grind City Media's HBCU show this week. With CJ, CJ Hurd and Mike Wise. Appreciate them boys getting me on. That was a dope experience, just talking to them about some swag basketball. I did a post-game bounce on a few games ago, so that's been cool. I'm slowly figuring out this car situation. I'll tell you about that off camera. So that's looking on the up and up, promising, fingers crossed. So yeah, it was a week, man. Just chopping that tree, made some few good connections. Off of that HBCU show, so that was dope again. Shout out to Grizz and Grind City Media for that opportunity. So yeah, it's been a pretty smooth week. I'm glad we did this today because I'm getting over a little allergy sickness or whatever.
You sound like little Daryl over there, man.
Yeah, so hopefully it comes out a little better throughout the show. But if y'all can, I'm getting over a little something. When the season started changing, the allergies started kicking my ass. So other than that, this is the best I felt in the past few days. So it's been a pretty decent week. How about yourself though? What's going on in the life of Chris Ingram?
Man, same this way, man. Just trying to be better than I was yesterday. Every single day, bro. Chopping that tree, doing what I can to get right, lock in, and get this year to where I want it to be, man. So, that's really all I got, man. I ain't got nothing too special happen on that, this week, to really, chop it up about. But we do got some topics to talk about when it comes to Grizzlies, Memphis basketball as a whole, all that good stuff. But before we get to that, man, we got a quick celebration, y'all. Quick celebration for y'all that have been rocking with us for a minute. Y'all know that literally, and I'm gonna tell you what hit me. What really hit me was the retirement ceremony. I remember that was either first or second official episode last year was Mark's retirement, and I was like,
it was.
We want to do this again. I'm like, oh damn, it is a year. So, man, it's a year of me and my boy Evan being co-host of the No Bluffing Podcast, man. So it's been really a quick one for real.
Fast, it went hella fast.
It flew by, but man, I mean, just a year of steady grinding, pushing out content for y'all every week, for the most part every week, unless something pop up. So, man, appreciate y'all tapping in with us, for supporting us, and everything that we do, man. It definitely don't go unnoticed for the show, man. So, you got any words for the people, Evan?
Just appreciate y'all. I know Chris been in this game a little bit longer than I have. He started this with another co-host before a little bit. So I just want to say I appreciate y'all. Just tuning in with us, giving us feedback, whether positive or negative, just engaging with us, because that's the most important thing in this game is engagement. So just y'all motivate us to keep going. So I want to appreciate all of y'all. I want to appreciate Kenny Stubville and all the people at Bluff City Media for giving us this platform to talk our talk, even when we get outside the lines. We appreciate y'all rocking with us and still having our back. So now it's been cool. Hope we can continue to do it for another year. It's to 52 more weeks. 52 weeks down,
for sure.
52 more weeks to go. So I appreciate y'all going, because I've been here, I've been in Memphis recording, I've been in Johnson City recording. So I appreciate y'all dealing with me. I always change locations on y'all, because I know y'all can't never get used to, because I'm always doing something. So appreciate y'all. Y'all keep tapping in with us, man. It's gonna be a good episode for the 52th 52nd. I don't know what my words all over the place today. I'm
It's
tired.
right like that.
Yeah, something like that. We 50 something in, something close to that. So keep it going.
For sure, man. Appreciate y'all. Look, you got me stumbling on my word, man. Appreciate y'all. Got some quick little breaking news to touch on, man. I don't know for the NFL fans out there. Just came through that the Bengals reached agreements with their 2-star receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, making them both the highest paid definite receivers in NFL history. Jamar is the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and then T. Higgins is the highest paid wide receiver number 2 in NFL history. So the Bengals definitely investing some bread into their receiving core. That is crazy. I was hoping T. Higgins was gonna get to Tennessee, but it didn't work out like that.
I thought they tagged T. Higgins. I thought they tagged him.
They did, but they went ahead and negotiated. I guess they didn't want to lose Jamar and him, so they went ahead and locked it in, bro. This literally just happened as we was talking.
Wow. Well, shout out to Bengals investing in they weapons. You know, you have a top 5 quarterback in Joe Burrow. You have to surround him with weapons, and keeping your quarterback happy is the number one thing you can do is surround him with weapons. So appreciate shout out to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for getting their bread. You know, I know Jamar Chase is always talking about him feeling like he's the best receiver in the league, and he's definitely getting paid like it. No matter if he's the number 1 receiver or not in the league, he's definitely getting paid like it. And T. Higgins is arguably the best number 2 receiver in the league. So shout out to them boys, man. I don't know how this changes their, it don't like when it comes to the whole like AFC North thing. Hey, if that means we get to see more years of Joe Burrow throwing to those 2 guys, and as a football fan, I appreciate it. So shout out to them boys getting that bread.
Yep. Hey man, getting your bread, do your thing, my brother, for sure.
At all.
But man, we're gonna jump into the No Bluffing news this week. Number one, we're gonna start off with the grandfather himself, man. The Tony Allen had his retirement ceremony this past weekend. Like I said, it feel like it was just a year. I mean, literally, like last week we were talking about Mark's retirement last year. But TA was up this year after everything that he done been through over the last couple of years, and I mean, y'all know about the legal troubles and everything like that. Thank God they was able to get put behind him so he could move on and enjoy just this next phase of his life, bro. And I kind of say my sentiments how I feel about it, but I want to get your I know we already talked about the documentary for a little bit. I still ain't finished the second half. I
need to watch it, bro. It's good, but I need to watch it.
I got to, but I did tap into the full ceremony yesterday, man. So what were your thoughts on that? Did you tear up a little bit? Because I know I did a little bit, bro. What was your thoughts on that?
It was the most Tony Allen ceremony that you could probably get. Tony was being candidly himself. I'm glad FanDuel didn't like bleep or censor out everything that they were saying, because I feel like that would have ruined the authenticity of it. So I enjoyed it, like having D Rose and Paul Pierce and of course Zebo and Mark being there, and just everybody embracing one of the founders of the grit and grind era. I love to see it. I definitely teared up a little bit during the tribute video. I was like, dang, he really did like the journey. Just all that. Yeah. It just made me put me back in my feels a little bit. Because as I said last week, Tony Allen was my second favorite player during that era. Outside of Mike, and I hate Mike couldn't be there, but obviously he's still actively playing basketball, so it's hard for him to travel. So I loved it.
His hoodie he had on.
Oh yeah, but Mike just had the green grind with the 9. That jump was hard. Yeah, shout out Mike for that. That jump was hard. Shout out for Mike still being tapped in with the city and with the core floor and all that. So I loved it, man. I just love that T.A. was able to get his flowers. I love they didn't cut it short, because he's had the long retirement ceremony, because Mark was like 30 minutes and Zebo was like 45 minutes. None of them hit the hour mark. So I think as well deserving. I feel like part of that is because Tony rambled for the last 15 minutes as well. Man, but it's Tony, man. I'm glad he brought all the unsung heroes of Grizz past with Rudy and Ed Davis and Vince Carter and Bino Udrich and all the. I just love even joking. Even though he didn't play, he played for Grizz for like a year. Even he was there. I just loved having all the unsung heroes of Grizz past. That was just a trip down memory lane, because I have vivid memories with every single one of those guys that he brought out. Again, shout out Rudy for being there. Rudy got a very big ovation, which is very deserving for Rudy. So yeah, it was I know you're gonna talk about that. It was a great ceremony, man. Well deserved for TA. We got 3 down, 1 more to go, and eventually when Mike retires, we'll see how that goes. And I bet it's gonna be another beautiful ceremony. The Grizz do a very good job of honoring their players. Like I can't compared to other franchises in the league, we do a very good job of like pouring into our players. So eventually when Mike retires, and eventually when John, Jaren, even maybe Dez retires, I just can't wait to see how these ceremonies evolve over time. Hopefully some chips down the line, but that's we can talk about that all day. But it was lovely, man. It was lovely. I enjoyed every second of it.
For sure, man. Like you said, I can't really change it too much from what you said. It was definitely the most entertaining retirement ceremony we had. And I don't expect nothing less from Tony, bro. He's one of them type of dudes that like you just don't give him no script. He made his whole career off going off script. Why would we give this man a script and expect him to stick to it now? Paul Pierce tearing up, talking about just him being his little brother. D Rose being there, flying into Memphis, really he didn't have to be there, but he did. So his presence. I mean, he had, the people that needed to be in there in the building. The only other person I would have loved to see there last night was KG, just because I know how he feel about TA. But I'm sure if he haven't already, he'll give him his flowers on his podcast. But like you said, bro, like I ain't gonna lie, like hearing them reminisce and stuff like that, tell the jokes, him, Zebo, Mark, all that was cool. But like you said, when he shouted out Rudy, I was like, thank you, bro. Like, we know he's not gonna get this, like he's not, but at least allow this man to feel the love that I feel like we talked about it here on before. If they just would have kept things together maybe a little bit longer, we may be having a different conversation. So I love to see that him going down the line. I kind of feel like he was like low key checking Coach Hollins a little bit.
Oh yeah, he was grilling him a little bit. He was like, "You didn't want to play me at first, but I still with it." You can tell Tony still feel a little something about that.
Tony had a little hen dog in him last night, just a little bit, because I saw his wife Desiree. She was holding his back.
He was like holding back, like don't fall off.
So I was like, man, Tony may had him just a little shot before he got on stage, but when he
maybe
saw
two.
Coach Hollins, he might have had to, man. He was sitting there like it was out of love, but I was like, man, you kind of like low key G checking this man in front of everybody. And Coach Hollins afterwards, he said, man, I think Tony kind of missed a screw what happened, because it wasn't that I didn't want him, it was more so I didn't want him playing point guard. I'm like, and I was talking to Anthony Saint earlier today. I thought I remembered it the same way. I thought he didn't want OJ playing point guard. It wasn't that. Yeah, it was Tony.
Because he was playing Xavier. He was playing Xavier Henry over Tony at the time, because Xavier Henry was the rookie we drafted that year, and he wanted to push him as the 2, or because OJ was still coming out. They were talking about OJ coming off the bench or starting. Tony we just brought in, and then Xavier Henry, who we just brought in. So it was just a bunch of cluster F word of guards going on, and Lionel didn't know what to do until we eventually OJ had to go, and so it was a lot of going on.
Can you imagine giving that situation to Coach Jenkins?
Oh my gosh, bro!
In the way it would have been.
Having OJ crazy, Tony crazy, and a rookie Xavier Henry. Oh my gosh, that would have been hell.
Hold on, did he get that year? Sam and DeMar Carroll came in after him. Never mind.
Yeah, Sam and they came to obviously. Then we had like Josh Shelby. Josh Shelby. I think it was Josh Shelby, because I think we got both of them in the same draft class. But Josh Shelby didn't play that much.
Yeah.
Because one of Xavier was like a lottery pick or a top 15 pick or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, he was the prototype as far as like physical size. I think he was like 6'6", athletic, lefty. You know what I'm saying? Really couldn't knock it down that great, but I mean, shit, he had potential for sure. Didn't work out. But yeah, man, him going down the line doing that, and I want to say it was in that moment when he just kept. Oh, his mama broke me, dog. Like when he did that, he had that moment with his mom. I was done. I had one or two. It may not have failed, but man, the eyes definitely got watery. That was just kind of crazy right there. But yeah, shout out to Tony, like you said, a well put on retirement ceremony for sure. I can only imagine with Mike being the last one, being the youngest one, and just being kind of that glue piece to connect it all together for all them guys. It might not be a dry eye in that joint just because he's the last one.
I'm definitely gonna tear up. I'm not gonna lie. Like, besides him being my favorite player, that's like literally closing the chapter of the grit and grind era. And from what those 4 guys meant to the city and the community of Memphis, man, like I told my parents, I gotta be in the building. I don't care where I am in the country. I gotta be in the building. When Mike has his jersey retirement, man, like just seeing all 4 of those jerseys up there forever, like that's gonna do something to me, man. Like it's gonna do something to me, bro. I don't know.
I got a quick question for you. We ain't gotta stay on it too long. Matter of fact, we're not gonna stay on it too long. I just want to get your quick thoughts. I know we talked about it real brief last year, and it did present itself again, man, where we didn't really get none of the young guys, except for the same young guys that was out there last year, present for the ceremony. Do you have any thoughts in regards to that, with Jaren and Santi being basically the only 2 out of this next group that have been present for both ceremonies?
Yeah, for y'all don't know, of course people always have their phones out and people taking the pictures of the guys that stood up. It was Tripp, Santi, Cam Spencer, Edie, and Santi. I think those are the 5 that stayed. I said Santi. I think it was those 4. I can't think of anyone else that they named that was still there. And a lot of people was online discoursing about it. Would I would love for the whole team to be there? Yes. But you also have to understand, like, these guys are still, like, grown men with lives and families and kids and all that. Like, Jaren's the only guy that had a taste of the grit and grind here because he didn't even play with Tony and he didn't play with Zebo either. He only played with Mark and he played with Mike for a season. So, the Grizzly fan in me would love them to be there, but I don't think it's a big deal that they weren't. I know Tony's around the team, Zebo's around the team, and Mark wants to fly in from Spain. He's around the team. Like, these guys know what Tony, Zebo, Mark, and Mike mean to the city. Like, Mike kind of still, I feel like they should. Shoot, they should know. They should know. They should. Like, Mike, even though he's been away from Grizz for 6-7, he still gets a positive reaction every time he's here. And we've played against him in playoff series. Might I like, even in those playoff series, people are still cheering Mike Conner because that's how much those 4 guys mean. So would I love them to be there to really like feel and see like we could have this one day? Yes. But do I feel like it's as big a deal as people are pointing out to be? No. Because again, it's a late night. These guys still have lives. These guys get to the arena like 6-7 hours before tip off anyway. Like some guys want to go home. I bet some of them guys get there early.
We'll be getting there when they take them damn pictures. Hour and a half before the game.
you don't think they do a workout then go back home? And
Dez and Ty be sleep. You see their face be sleeping in the morning. They just get off the sprinter. I know Cam Spencer probably been there about 6 hours, but shit, sicko. My only thing is this, bro. Like it probably is not a big deal. I'm not gonna make it a big deal. I would just say kind of like what you said. I would hope that them guys get the feeling of what grit and grind meant to the city. Because like Tony said, when he first started, bro, them games was not lit at all. I remember both of those games. I remember being able to pay $5 and get a decent ticket in that mug. Like I remember those days. And to see what they were able to do to the city, like the reason, don't get me wrong, like if we were sorry as hell and we ended up with Ja Morant, that phone was gonna be packed regardless. You know what I'm saying? But for the kids like you and myself that grew up in that culture, watching these guys, supporting those guys, we'll be lifelong fans because of them, no matter who's in that Grizzly jersey. And so it does mean something different for us and to them for what happened. So just would love to know that they understand what them guys mean to the city. And at the same time, too, like you said, like look into something that hopefully you getting, one day, whether it be championship or not. Like that's something that you hoping for. Like I don't think it's too many teams that retire, people's jerseys that don't get championships. I was having a conversation earlier with somebody about like, where is KD get his jersey retired? Like, yeah, he got a ring in Golden State, but like he ain't play. He ain't Dre
or Iggy.
Yeah, he's not them. He's not them at all. Like, and then obviously we know how everything ended. So that don't really happen a lot. But I will say this. I also wanted to take it a step further. And I tweeted about this earlier today. Just want them guys to know, and they probably know this already, but it's been so much like discourse about it this season in particular. Like the social media shit, that's not real. The real love that you feel from fans is bigger than a few Twitter handles. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit don't mean nothing. Most of the time they trolls. Most of the time they're not even Grizzly fans or Jive Days, Jaron. Like they're not even fans of what you got going on. So to let that affect, you know, that putting that aside, even the people that you may deem as a Grizzly fan, like the people that are in that arena that are paying their money and they bleed blue, like for real. Like I just will hope they understand and feel the love that the city really have for the Grizzlies, bro. Like, and understand that you can tune that shit out because social media is not real. Like the real love that you saw last night, and that arena can only fill, you know, close to 18,000. There's still people in that city that if they see Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, Mark Gasol, Mike Conley, hell, even Rudy Gay. I know he's come back and done certain events. Like they respect them dudes in a different kind of way, man. So that's the only thing that I would hope they take away from that. I would love to see them all there for Mike's, or at least the core or whatever. But you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I don't think it's a big deal, but you just would love to see that and hope, like I said, that they understand what that means for the city. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Social media in general is a very small percentage of what people actually feel about a certain product. You can go to sports, wrestling, food, like whatever. Like it's a very small niche audience of what's like consuming that product. So like you said, it's a loud minority, exactly. Like you said, I hope Ja, Dez, and the rest of the crew can really feel like, yo, like we really got something special here. Like this, like it's very few basketball cities that like galvanize around a team like Memphis does in the Grizzlies. Like it's very few. Right. Like this is all like we have the Tigers, but it's the only professional sports team we have here. Yeah, when the Lakers are good, of course LA is lit, but the LA also has like 5-6 other major sports teams going on.
Right. You
know, we can go to Boston, Miami. Like, yeah, everyone likes when the NBA team is doing well, but there's other things going on. The Grizz is it will always be the hottest ticket in town. Like for probably because of the grit and grind era, it will always be the hottest ticket. No matter if the Tigers doing well, football, basketball, whatever. It will always be the hottest ticket in town. So I just hope, like you said, the guys understand like what special thing they have in their hands, and if they take care of business from the top to bottom, they could really have something special.
Right, for sure. Well, man, we're gonna jump over to this last no bluffing topic for the day before we get into the main topic of the day, which is us talking about playoff matchups with the Grizzlies. But we're gonna talk about another tournament first, man. The Memphis Tigers were able to secure that AAC championship today. I know we talked about it last week. I didn't really get the whole.
You didn't understand how they go.
It made no sense to me. Today made sense. 100%. Them guys went out there and won that trophy without one of their best players. And you got to give it to them. Shout out to Penny. Shout out to the staff. Andre Turner was the first basketball player I've really came in contact with growing up. I think I talked about it on here before. I was at a camp where he and Penny put on a camp. If I can find a picture, I'll upload it. I'm just going to blur my face out because y'all not finna check me. I had on that day. But, yeah, man, I'm glad them guys were able to get that part done. Now it's on the bigger and better things in the tournament. They got the 5 seed out in the West. Evan, what we before we do that, we got Jared, my boy JD. Evan bring up wrestling is the perfect comparison, man. He gonna bring up a wrestling comparison. I don't know what he be talking nowadays, but
shout out to Jared. Me and him, we talk. He's actually one of my favorite Twitter people because we talk wrestling and basketball. Because not many people I can talk wrestling and basketball with. So shout out you, Jared. But yeah, shout out to Tigers for getting the job done. Without Tyrese Hunter, like you said. And I want to shout out the committee for actually giving Memphis their due diligence. People are very wondering that we would think we would probably get a 7, 8, maybe 9 seed, being that we only lost 5 games on the season, had a lot of good quad 1 wins. But the fact is, we took care of business in the tournament, and the committee rewarded us. It's not the best thing we're traveling to Seattle, but they got a few days to travel. It's not the worst thing in the world. It could be worse. We have Colorado State coming up. We are the underdogs going into that game, which is a very Memphis thing for the people to underrate to have us being the underdog. I know Clark Kellogg and a lot of guys on the CBS crew said that they think we're going to lose first round, but I honestly think this is the best chance we have to make it to the Sweet 16. We got Colorado State first round, and we're taking the winner of Maryland and GCU. If you look at those rosters, look how they played. We have better teams than all 3 of those teams, and that's just point blank period. So I'm confident that Penny and the crew will take care of business. I feel like we have the best guard in the nation in PJ Haggerty and one of the best bigs in the nation with Dane Danger. Hopefully the guys can give Tyrese Hunter some room to get back. I feel like because I don't know the severity of his injury, but if he makes it 16, he can muster up to try to get his foot right. So shout out Penny. It's probably, in my opinion, Penny's best coached year. Like, we've really seen Penny coach good basketball all year. And in the past, we've questioned if Penny can win the tournament or put certain guys together. But Penny coached his ass off this year. Like, he straight up did. So I'm just so happy for him and his crew. Like, just finally having a team, like we said last week, got a lot of drama. Just going out, getting the guys that he wants, that want to be there and that want to play for the city. Yeah. And now I believe isn't this the highest seed we've had since Penny has been the coach?
Gotta be. I ain't expect it, but it gotta be.
The highest seed that we've had. We have a favorable matchup in the first round. And I'm excited, man. This is probably the most excited I've been going into a Tigers NCAA tournament outside of the Jalen Duren year. When we played Gonzaga in the second round, when we almost beat Gonzaga, I was really excited that year because that was Tyler Harris's last year, Alex Lomax. That was the last year of the Memphis guys, the guys from the city. But this is the team I feel like we got the best chance to make a really deep run. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I don't think they're gonna. I think that, like you said, I don't care what the sports books say. Sports books really don't matter at this time of year anyway, because it's the time of year where you get all the upsets. You know what I'm saying? But I think that is why, Memphis, for me, they, even if Tyrese Hunter ain't playing, I think they still gonna pull it out, bro. That dude, Dang Danger,
he's a dog.
I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. I don't know if he's going back another year. I know he said he got one. If he don't and he decide to come out, would I be mad if the Grizzlies bring him in just to give us some dog energy? Hell no, because we know we need it. But he was looking like a baby Zebo the last couple games. I'm sitting there the footwork, he ain't getting a lot of, explosion off when he's under the basket, but just a touch and the footwork. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't see this coming. Shout out to them guys, bro, for sure. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Make sure y'all, we got to get behind it. I told you, I told you on this show. I told people, in private. I have not watched one regular season full Memphis Tigers game. I've watched highlights. I have tapped in with other stuff and conversations. Today, I actually did watch the second half. I can say that, and I'm excited for the tournament. I will be watching that whole game from start to finish. So, shout out to the Memphis Tigers. Shout out to Penny and the whole staff. Shout out to Ed Scott. Our new AD. I didn't even know who the last AD was, but shout out to Ed Scott. I know who he is. Cool brother right there.
Cool dude, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's all we got for the No Bluffin' News, man. We're going to go ahead and get to this first break. Before we do that, my boy JD said the possibility of Cap. Man, oh, my goodness.
If we get Cal, bro, the city may burn down. It's we may go crazy, bro. It's not. I know it's not Kentucky.
It don't matter.
Still getting Cal, bro.
He could have been at Austin Peay. He could have been at Bird State. He could have been at. It don't matter. It's Cal. If we get them at any point, I don't even know how to bracket shake. I saw they was in the same thing. Please, Lord, basketball guys, make that happen.
If we get Cal, bro, and there's a few Memphis kids on Arkansas too that we tried to recruit that they didn't want to come to Memphis. Shout out, Billy, I know Billy personally. I told that dude to commit. He did not want to rock with us, bro. Anyway, please give us Cal. Yes, a little stuff, but it'd be
make it happen.
It can happen, bro. We have a very winnable region. There aren't any certified just tournament in June. There's no certified number one team. If all the years, this is the year we can legit make a run. I'm trying to see the number one seed in our region. Just before we go to break, I think it is. I'm trying to see the number one seed in our region is. Number one seed in our region is Florida. Our region, bro. Florida has looked good lately, but I feel like we can beat any team. Then St. John's is the number two, bro. We can make some noise in this region, bro. I'm sorry, there's no one. Even UConn is in our region. We already played UConn and beat them. No one in our region just if we run into them, You know, like I feel like we can play any team in the country and we can definitely make some noise, man. Shout out to the Tigers, man. GTG, man.
Man, for real, for real. Well, we're going to be back in just a second. We got a quick commercial break. On the other side, we're going to talk about the Grizzly playoff or potential playoff matchups, man, because we are going up and down, just like my camera is going up and down right now. We're going up and down to see the seasons as of late, anywhere from 2 to 4, potentially could be 5. But, you know, if you are 4, you are 5, might as well because you're playing the same team. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll be right back with more from the No Bluffin podcast. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You got to figure out a way to play to the strengths of John Morant. He is good playing with the ball in his hands and playing in screen and roll action at some point. Now, can they figure out how to get more screen and roll action? Who's going to be that guy? Because I say, if it's going to be Zach Edey, then they got to do it more often so he gets accustomed to the angles of how to set screens in the NBA. With the speed of John Morant and how he likes to get to the basket, which way, because he got very comfortable with getting open because he got screen set by Jonas Valanciunas and Steven Adams. Mm-hmm. You're talking two of the best bigs in the game at getting a guard open by setting screens. John Morant's also going to have to do better in terms of what other ways can I be successful to help this team win? Jaren is elevated. Dez is elevated. The bench is elevated. So now he doesn't have to do it all, but you still have to be impactful when you're on the floor.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Time changes all these hard stances that Jimmy Butler has. I think he'll realize that, you know, a lot of these hard stances that he has are not beneficial to his ultimate goal, which is to win and also get paid in either next year or in a couple of years. And, of course, he's changed his mind on Memphis. But what people have to understand is that these reports aren't coming from Memphis. I don't think that Memphis's desire to get Jimmy Butler has increased any in the last few weeks. Now, I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler's not coming to Memphis and there won't be a Jimmy Butler trade. I'm not saying that at all. But these type of things, these are obviously coming from Jimmy's camp. They're trying to stir certain things up. And I said this when people were tripping about, you know, setting his jersey on fire and, you know, talking bad about Jimmy Butler and all these type of things. I was like, just let it play out, bro. Like that makes sense now. But, you know, as this thing tightens up, I'm sure he'll realize, damn, Memphis is good. And if I want an opportunity to do anything, I probably need to go somewhere and play and show myself, show and prove to somebody. So I'm not really tripping about that at all.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the No Bluffin podcast, where we keep it all the way real, all the way raw, all the way honest about everything Grizzlies. I am Chris Ingram, and to my right is my right hand man, Evan Hayes. Man, we're gonna get into these Grizzlies potential playoff matchups. Man, there's a lot going on. The seedings and everything is so up and down. One day you 2, one day you 3, one day you 4. You just never know. We're gonna break it down. Man, I ain't even trying to. Just off the dome.
Off the dome with it. You feel me?
So we're gonna break these matchups one by one of potential, you know, I guess matchups where we could be playing in as of tonight. Now, his game's going on. I don't think they're gonna affect anything as far as the standings. I know OKC is playing; they've already clinched. Nobody's catching them. Nobody.
Nah.
But as the standings are right now, we're just gonna talk about the top 6 because the play-in, you know, it's nothing really we can do with that. But right now, the top 6 seeds in the West are OKC at 1, locked in. As of right now, Houston is number 2, Denver is number 3, Memphis is number 4, the Lakers are number 5, and the Warriors are coming at number 6. So let's kind of like break this down, bro. I don't know how you want to attack this, how you want to start it off. But if the playoffs did start today, let's do it that way. If the playoffs started today, the Grizzlies will be in a 4-5 matchup with the Lakers. And the last time we were in the playoffs, not last year, because we got our ass kicked. NBA history amount of injuries. We didn't sniff the playoffs. But the last time you saw a Grizzly player in a playoff matchup, we were going against the Lakers. Dylan Brooks was on this team. A lot of things were looking the same and different at the same time. But yeah, it would be the same matchup 2 years removed if it began today. So in regards to that, tell me what you looking at. Like, Evan, if we go against the Lakers, if it's announced that it's us in a 4-5 matchup, obviously we got home court advantage. But we're known to drop that first game, so it may not be an advantage. Tell me what the pros and cons of that matchup is in your eyes.
The pros and cons is that whatever our strengths are, it's the Lakers' weakness, and the Lakers' strengths are our weakness. The Lakers, and this is hopefully not going to everyone is healthy. Like, I don't want to see any, even outside the Grizz, I don't like having players being hurt in the playoffs. I feel like it dilutes the quality of the game. So Luke and LeBron are the two best players on the Lakers. We're gonna, and as we said, we're depending on a young crew of wings to guard those two guys and to maintain them. On our side, we have Ja Morant. There's no one in the Lakers that can guard Ja Morant. And we also have a Jaren Jackson Jr. who does not have to deal with an Anthony Davis anymore. Right. So it's literally a clashing of styles in that. So those are whoever, in simple terms, I can say whoever wins their matchup the most, that's where their advantage is in that series. If we can't maintain Luka and LeBron, the Lakers are going to give us hell. If Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. play how they're capable of playing, the Lakers got some head on their hands. But it comes down to the intricacies of the game that kind of gets me a little worried on the Lakers. Number one, of course, history shows that when LeBron in the playoff series against us, it's not a good matchup. Of course, Dylan Brooks is there. This team looks a lot different. But as a LeBron GOAT person, I don't want to see LeBron James in the playoffs. I just don't. And the guys they surround around, Rui Hachimura is a Grizz killer. He's beginning to be a Grizz killer, especially in the playoffs. Austin Reeves played very well against us in the play. We couldn't seem to guard him for some reason. Mm-hmm. And we also have a lot of guys on this team that are unproven in the playoffs. And you have an unexperienced team with a guy that has all the experience in the world. That's not a favorable matchup. I'm not saying we're just going to lose that series, because in the 7-game series, I like our chances against the Lakers. But compared to the other teams that we could face, and the Lakers is literally the last team I want to play. Just full on, full stop. I'd rather play the Rockets. I'd rather play the Nuggets. I'd rather play the Warriors. I do not want to see the Lakers in the. For me, the Lakers is the least, then the Warriors. The Lakers in the, because I feel like even look at those series, I feel like we played the Warriors, even though we lost both series in 6 games. I feel like we played the Warriors tougher, because it takes one Ja Morant layup in game 1 for that series to look completely different. If y'all remember that.
Jimmy Butler, though.
Again, playoff Jimmy, who is a very capable. I'd rather deal with LeBron. I still rather deal with playoff Jimmy than LeBron James and Luka Doncic. That means I have one wing to worry about that can kill us compared to 2 wings. It's just a numbers game at that point. And Steph is going to be Steph. He's going to get his regardless. But I'll just rather play the Lakers right now compared to any other team because of history, because of just how those two teams, how our teams counteract each other. I would definitely say I can still bet that we can beat that team, but I'm not the most confident.
So our record this year against the Lakers is 1-2. I'm not sure. I don't believe we play them again the rest of the season. I may be wrong. Actually, no.
Yes, we do. We played them. We played them at the end of this month.
Yeah. I don't know how that's gonna go. The thing about the Lakers matchup for me is anytime you get into a matchup with another coach that can outthink you when it comes to basketball. Like, let's talk about it. Let's throw everything else out there for what it's worth. You know, people had their thoughts about Darvin Ham. The joke about him having his hands in his pocket still to this day be having me tripping laughing.
Did you see the picture when Tyrese Halliburton hit that game winner and Darvin Ham is just sitting there
with his hand in his pocket again? Like, man, do something, bro.
He ain't looking at the ball. He just looking into space. He ain't looking at the ball.
He right in front of you, bro. What you looking at?
He's looking right here. And the ball. He ain't a real person. I feel like there's real industry players in the NBA, bro, because, like, he can't be a real person, bro. Like, I know he played in the league, bro, but the NBA took him wherever he was doing, whatever job he was doing outside of it. Was like, you know what? We're going to make you the most memeable coach. And he ain't a real person, bro.
That man is a meme, bro. But JJ Redick is a different beast.
He
knows the game.
Coach.
I've always respected JJ, even when he was on ESPN, because he's gonna talk basketball. He's gonna talk X's and O's. He's gonna talk strategy. He's gonna talk scheme. He's gonna talk about the game of basketball from a different aspect than anybody else. And you got to see that even when him and LeBron had that podcast for a very short amount of time because he got hired on to be his coach.
That was his interview, bro. Like, don't. Right. That was his interview being like, we know why it was on the full short period of time.
Oh, you think like that? Oh, come on with it.
Let's get you. We need you. I'll make the calls right now. You know what? Yep. Come on, let's go. Anyway,
that dude, he is just a different basketball mind, and being somebody that has played as of recent as he has, you know, it's good to have the people that, you know, had a mindset. Like, don't get me wrong, I think, you know, to a certain extent, I think Jason Kidd is a really good coach. He's able to bring different things out of guys, and he was one of my favorite guards growing up. But he's been removed from the NBA as far as a player for what? Over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? JJ just got out the league maybe 5 years ago.
Less than that. Oh, less than that. Way less than that. Yeah. Like 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
So yeah, like he's not far removed from it. He has been in those situations. He still get out there and shoot around and probably participate with them guys in the game. So it hasn't left him. I'm not saying it's left other guys, but it's still ingrained in him to a way to where when he's in certain situations, yes, I'm drawing up something for y'all, but I've been in these situations. I remember what I needed to do, what my coach drew up for me. It's just different, bro. And when it comes down to just a simple game of basketball, I'm not surprised nobody when I say that I don't have faith in Taylor Jenkins when it comes to a strategy match between him and JJ Redick in basketball. It's just, I'm choosing JJ. Sorry. Matter of fact, JJ was on my short list when people always used to bring up, well, who are you going to bring in if you replace Jenkins? JJ was on my short list. It was him. It was Cassell. It was a couple other guys. But anyway, that's number one. Being prepared before the ball is even tipped. I got to give it to JJ just on scheme. He's going to go outside of the norm to win a game or a series.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Jenkins will keep the same strategy, the same starting lineup, the same rotation we've had all year. I'm guaranteeing it. He's never shown me otherwise. You know, it was all the talk about when we played the Lakers last time. Well, he was just about to start Luke Kennard. Well, you were too late. One, his shoulder was done. And then two, you should have started him 2-3 games ago. Like the Dylan Brooks thing, we already knew he was getting left alone in game one. Like, stop, bro. It takes you too long to do things, and then you use the excuses that the basketball guards are blessing you with. Like, they blessing you with excuses, and you get to use them. But it's like, nah, bro, you wasn't gonna do that. Like, stop. And so that's number one. Number two, JJ is getting, definitely, good rotation minutes out of guys that we gave up. I ain't gonna say we gave up, but good. What's his name? Good.
Jordan Goodwin,
Jordan Goodwin, and Trey Jemison. Recent Grizzlies. Like, we swapped out our two-way players and they two-way players. We got Scotty and Jay Huff. Now they got our two. But it's no politics over there. JJ is playing the guys that are gonna get the job done, and it's working. And so, I've said, in conversations offline and space, I even think I said it on here last week. I think you're gonna have to play Lamar Stevens, bro, in the playoffs. Especially if you get the Lakers.
They play the Lakers, yes.
Good God, because you don't have nobody else on the wing with size. Like, I love Vince, but his knee, something ain't right. His shin, his knee, ankle, whatever, something ain't right with that. Gigi is just, that situation is breaking my heart to watch, but I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not absolving him. He is definitely playing a part in it. but it ain't all him. And we all are seeing what's gonna happen with that. At least when it comes to what I'm gonna say, what should happen. And that's coming from one of his biggest fans. If it's not gonna get right mentally, like you don't have to be forced to make a decision.
This may not be the year for Gigi. As we both thought that Gigi would be the guy we can pluck right into the starting line, especially for a series like this where we would need a Gigi Jackson.
We need scoring.
A size, scoring, another guy that can get his own shot. But unfortunately, it just don't seem unless a switch happens very soon. It just don't seem like it's the year for Gigi to take that leap like we thought it was, which is unfortunate.
You say a switch, I'm gonna say it's gonna have to be a conversation, and I'm not trying to make this a topic. I just want to touch on it real quick. It's obvious that Jenkins is trying to make Gigi do something different than he's made all his other young wings before. Like he's not giving him the same treatment that he gave Zaire, Roddy, and Jake. He's not. And for whatever reason, he's trying to make him and mold him into a defensive stopper. Yes, he messes up on defense. So does Santi. So does Luke. So does Desmond Bain. I can probably think of somebody else. That team is not the perfect defensive team that we want to make. They play good defense at times, but even over the last few couple of games and weeks, like their defense has been atrocious. That's why they lose and are getting these tight games. So I'm not going to scapegoat Gigi when his profile, like what he was put on this earth to do when it comes to basketball, at least, is to score the freaking basketball. And you're sitting here trying to scald him because he's not being this defense. He's not Vince, bro. He ain't Jalen Wells. And
he's trying to make him a spot-up shooter too, which is not Gigi's game as well. Like
he's not that. You wouldn't go out there, and I'm not saying Jalen Wells can't do it. I'm not saying Vince can't do it, but you wouldn't tell them to go beat Gigi. So stop trying to make Gigi beat them and just empower that guy. And at this point, you've given up salary dump Marcus Smart. You don't have a freaking choice, bro. You don't have a choice. So that's my little spiel on that. But like I said, you're going to have to depend on Lamar at this point. You don't have the roster spots to bring Cam Spencer's crazy ass in, which I would love to see, but you can't do it because you strapped your roster to 15 people like I've been saying stop freaking doing for the last 2-3 years, but you did it anyway. Whatever. Sorry for that little bitty rant, but that is my concern, bro. Size and coaching going into that. At that point, you just got to pray for health because we haven't been healthy in these series lately. Do I think they can pull it out? Yes, because that team, and on the flip side of everything I just said, if Jaren locks in the playoffs, like he don't look left, he don't look right, just straight tunnel vision, and he just gets that aggressiveness he had early on in the season.
Nobody can stop the Lakers.
I don't really know what they're gonna do with that. So it's some variables. It's some variables in that series, bro. Ultimately, I'm not gonna make you do that. I'm not gonna even put you in that position. You already kind of broken down your confidence in the series ranked. So I'm not gonna ask you who you think wins. I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna do that because
as a biased Grizzly fan, of course,
you're gonna say the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
of course.
As a bias, of course, I'm gonna say the Grizzlies. But out of all the other teams that we gonna play, they're the least. That's my least confidence level. Like, just keeping the stack with you. I just am. Yeah. Like for me, I'm just ranking real quick. It's the Lakers at the bottom, and then the Warriors, then the Nuggets, then the Rockets. Yeah, that's how I feel. Because again, all those other teams outside the Rockets have championship pedigree and championship experience, and they have aces in the hole that we just don't have an answer for sometimes. Yeah, like when it comes to the Warriors, Steph Curry is a bullet that we can match sometimes with Ja Morant. Like Ja Morant can go shot for shot, but sometimes he can go nuclear. We just sometimes don't have and we've seen plenty of playoff series against the Grizz where Steph Curry just goes nuclear and we can't do nothing about it. And now they have another ace in the hole with Jimmy Butler. We see what he does in playoff, just puppeteering and controlling the game. But again, we can put Dez on him. We can put Vince on him. If Gigi locks in, we can throw a lot of guys at Jimmy. Right. But it's just, again, comes to the coaching aspect. You can say what you want about Steve Kerr. I feel like Steve Kerr is a very good I'm not going to say he's a great coach. I feel like he's a very good coach. He knows how to put his guys in the best position to be successful. That's why he's been so successful. Go down with the Nuggets. I'm not trying to just speed through. I'm going to hear what you got to say, too. The Nuggets, we know who their best player is, Jokic. As much as I love Jaren Jackson Jr., Jokic is a walking triple-double. And they have a great supporting cast around them that anyone can get out. They have Michael Porter Jr., they have Christian Braun, Jamal Murray can, of course, be Jamal Murray. They have a lot of guys on that team that can get hot and hurt you. But I feel because of depth on the rosters, I feel like we can match up with them very well. I do. Outside of Jokic, that's the only guy. If we gang defend and gang rebound on that team, I feel like we can do very well on Jokic. In the Rockets, I feel like we're a better team than the Rockets, just straight up. We just haven't played well against them. There's
nothing. Man, you running through the team too fast. Yeah. Now. Hold on, slow down.
Let me slow down. I want to get to Auburn, then you hit, but
Yeah, hold on. Let's go one by one. So you got. Let's say we swap seeds right now. I'm a touch base. Let's go. I want you to just kind of double down on the Warriors. We swap seats with the Nuggets. They go back to 4. We jump up to 3. So we got the Warriors. I know you done already kind of talked about it, but like just if you can dig a little bit deeper on that series, your confidence level and what you need to see out of the Grizz to get out of that series, advance.
Honestly, I need to see as what I already will probably see is Ja Morant taking the challenge. We've seen Ja Morant take the challenge against Steph Curry, and I want to see him do that again. If Ja Morant can be a superstar, which we know he can be, I feel like that gives in every series, especially this series, that gives us because we know Steph is going to bring it. There's no doubt about that. He's a champion. He's an all-time great. Like we know that's going to come. So Ja Morant can match his intensity and be the Ja we've seen over the past few games before he got this little hamstring injury. I'm confident in that. But also 3-point defense. We have been terrible guarding the 3-point line. Oh my goodness. And if we go into that series with all those shooters and we can't defend the 3-point line, that is going to be a very long series.
No, it ain't.
Like,
wrap that shit up quick.
Oh my God. Like you got Moses Moody that can shoot, you got Steph, you got Buddy here, Jimmy can make a shot. Like even though it don't look like the Warriors of old, they still have guys that can still hurt you if you don't play proper defense. And we've let a lot of guys that shouldn't got off on us this year get off on us with 3-point line and shit. Like, so that's what it come down to. And also, you have to worry about guys that can, like, getting rebound. Rebound has been suspect. We've seen how Kevon Looney can just dominate a game on the boards. Man. Like, the Warriors, to their credit, is a pretty good rebounding team for the lacking of size they have. Because Jimmy can rebound when he wants to. You got Moses Mooney, you got the Santos guy, the dude, Eric Savage looking dude. And I don't know where he came from, and he's rebounding like crazy. Gary Payton Jr. is like another Josh Hart. He is small, but he's athletic and he can rebound his ass off. Like besides Steph, everybody crashing, but Steph leaking out. Everybody else is crashing. So in that series, 3-point shooting and rebounding will be our kryptonite of that series. But if we lock in and play properly, I feel like we can handle them. I honestly do. Like it's a very big gap when it comes to like my confidence between the Lakers and everyone else. Like the Lakers is on a scale of 1 to 10, like how confident I feel like we can beat them. It's like at a 4. Like confident. I'm saying that like no bias. Everyone else is like a 7 or above. That's how I feel with these next few teams. Like it's literally the Lakers and everybody else. Because the Warriors and just the whole Draymond thing. But I feel like if you just don't let Draymond mentally take you out the game with the antics and all that, like that's what it comes down to. Like in both of the series we lost against him, Draymond has taken certain guys out. Dylan Brooks might have had with just his personality, him getting people, him and Dez got into it. Like just don't let Draymond be Draymond. Like he's gonna talk, he's gonna foul you hard. Like when we get too caught up in the talking and the answers, like that's when bad things happen with in general. Like that's been our kryptonite. Every time Dez getting somebody to face want to fight, most of the time it doesn't go right. Like that just happens.
I don't know how we pulled out that Phoenix game. As soon as he did that shit with KD, I said,
he was like,
I went on FanDuel and went ahead and bet against us. I ain't gonna lie, because we always lose. I said, God damn, man, we're gonna lose this game.
But Cam Spencer his craziness offset the voodoo that Dez put on us. So yeah, in that series, I'm more confident. Like I'll give us about a 7. Like of course the championship pedigree is there. On the coaching aspect, I trust Steve Kerr more than Taylor Jenkins, which is a very big aspect. Like Steve Kerr is the king of switching lineups up in the playoffs. He's done that a lot of sitting guys in the playoffs. Like he does not care. Like he will sit guys. Like there's been series where Draymond does not play a lot and he does not shoot the ball because he just can't play him. So on the coaching aspect, that's a big thing. But I feel like if we play our game and if the right guys are playing well at the same time, but I will say this in all these series, especially against the Lakers and the Warriors, you need somebody besides Ja and Tripp to go with you. And right now, I'm not entirely confident who that third guy is going to be. It should be Dez, but Dez is showing in some games he'll disappear when you need him. So in the playoffs, especially against the Lakers and the Warriors, you need a third guy to go with you. And I'm not entirely right now about who that would be. So all those things encapsulate what I know. I put the Lakers in there a little bit then, but those are like the things that we have to hit on to be competitive and win those series to get to the second round.
All right, quick hits. We're gonna move to. We end up somehow switching it back 4-5, but now we the 5th seed, and the Nuggets have gotten to the 4th seed. We playing them. We don't have home court advantage. We got to fly to Denver for the first 2 games in the altitude.
Mm-hmm.
Airport's like 2 hours or hour and a half away from the freaking stadium.
It's cold. It still may be cold, even though it's March. Still may be cold.
You got the former MVP Jokic. You got Murray. You know what people may say a down year, but I just saw him hit another game one the other night.
Got Westbrook being crazy.
Westbrook is back. Like, what we looking at against that Nuggets team if we get them, 4 or 5 match or any matchup in general? But
yeah,
what you looking at in the series?
Yeah, just for the channel, it's a 3-way tie between us, the Nuggets, and the Rockets. So that's why it's so wavering all over the place.
Don't know,
but we don't know where it's gonna be. I feel like in that series, of course, there's the ace in the hole, which is Jokic, who is a very big ace in the hole that you have to account for. And your whole game, damn near your whole game plan has to surround on not having him control the games, which is a very much easier said than done task. But in that one, I feel like in that series, our depth has to show up because the Nuggets, they'll play 7, 8, 9 guys if they really need to. They will. They have they'll put Westbrook off the bench. They'll start Westbrook. Christian Brown can go off. Like, they got that Watson guy that plays great defense in the end that can hurt you from the 3-ball. Like, it has to be a collective effort. Of course, every playoff series is a collective effort, obviously. But in certain series, more your stars have to be stars. I feel like in this series, your bench unit has to show up because the fact that the Nuggets can hurt you in so many ways, that makes them very dangerous in the playoff series. Like with the Lakers and the Warriors, it's going to be Luka, LeBron, Steph, Jimmy. Those 4 guys are going to do most of your damage. But with the Nuggets, you got Jokic, you got Murray, you got Westbrook, you got Porter, you got Braun. Like, all these guys can go off for 15, 20, 25 plus in the game. And you don't know where it's going to come from. The game 1, it may be Jokic's night, but game 2, maybe Murray or Porter's night. Mm-hmm. That's why you need your supporting cast do what they do best, supporting the stars. Like, the stars have to do what they need to do, but if the supporting cast lays an egg, it's going to be a lot harder to win that series when the Nuggets can go so deep and their guys play so well together as a collective. You need your bench to match that. Like, you need your Luke Kennards and your GGs and your Vinces and your Jalen Wells and your Edis. Like, they have to play well. Like, I know it's the whole thing about, like, in the playoffs, so role players don't play good on the road, but you're going to have to against the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. It's straight like that. You're going to have to play well on the road or just in those big playoff games. We can't have any games with Luke Kennard scared to shoot the ball where he get up 2 shot attempts. Because Luke Kennard loves to shoot 7, 8 threes against against the bad team, but against a good team, he's a pump fake master. Like, he don't want to shoot the ball. Like, we can't have that in the series against the Nuggets because when Luke Kennard don't want to shoot the ball, you got Watson who gonna want to shoot the ball, and Michael Porter who never not shoots the ball. So in that series, I feel like it really comes down. So of course, keeping Jokic at bay, which is a very hard task, but also the supporting cast is going to be the big thing in that series.
Last one we're gonna talk about, because these other ones, I mean, be honest, Minnesota could slip in at 6. They could.
They could go on a good run.
They very could. But let's talk about the Rockets. Young team, scrappy team. I'll be honest, bro. What bothers me when I'm looking at this list, when you talk about and Draymond is really the first person that made me think about this. Like I've thought about coaching in a different way, but him bringing up our players, whether you want to believe it to be true or not, players taking on the personalities of their coach, or not even if you want to throw that to the side, just talking about the personalities of a coach. I've never really thought about that until he brought that up, and I've been watching it like just way more close than I have before. Outside of OKC, bro, because to me, that dude he reminds me too much of Alpha. Like way too much. He looks just like his ass.
He a genius, bro.
Act like him.
His brain come working calculations. He don't anyway.
Yeah, I don't see him get emotional at all, like ever. Yeah. But his team's so good. It's like we not playing them anyway, unless it was the finals, the West Finals anyway. But the Rockets, you got Ime Udoka. Good God, I can't say his name tonight. We know what his personality, his persona, what he brings to the table. He alone has able to shift that team's just mindset.
The energy. Yeah.
You talk about Mike Malone, OG energy, like just cool ass.
Been there before, yeah.
He been there before. Cool, calm, collected, but he get his team rides for him. He rides for his team. Just a dog as a coach. You talking about, we already talked about JJ Redick. We talked about Steve Kerr being there, multiple time champion. You can call him goofy, but he makes the adjustments that he needs to make. And he leans on his players to help him make those adjustments as well. He's listening to Steph. He's listening to Dre, things of that nature. That shit worries me, bro. And so looking at Houston, yes, they are the little brothers to us in a sense. Like they're the younger team. They have a lot of similarities when it comes to roster makeup. Jalen Green being this young athletic phenom. We got Ja. We had Ja, obviously coming up being that young thing. Now he's more seasoned, more poised. You got what's his name? Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith. I couldn't think of his last name. Stretch four, can be a defensive threat when he, gets there. He still got a little bit ways to go in that regard. But just a stretch four guy can play, multiple positions, can be definitely athletic and creative with his shot making, just like Jaren. We got, basically final form Jabari in a sense. You talk about the shooting, the defense. They just got a lot, bro. And if they got Amen Thompson back, which I haven't seen a report on him, but if he's back by the playoffs, that's all that really matters. Man, I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts on that Rocket series?
I feel like on paper it should not be a very tough series, but they've played us tough all year, and I feel like that would be a dogfight. That would be a very dogfight of the series. As I said before, the other team I feel the most confident about against because of the experience factor, because I feel like when it comes down to it, despite coaching, I feel like our guys will make the plays they need to because they've been there. The only sliver of player experience they have is Fred VanVleet, which is a lot because he won a championship. So obviously he accounts for a lot. He's been there. He's been farther than any of our guys on our team. But one guy can't push your whole team over the finish line in the playoff series. Like, you're going to need your guys with the ball in their hands to be there before. Of course, Dylan Brooks, he's obviously been there with us, so he has the same amount of player experience with us. But you're still depending on the Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith and Jalen Green and all these other young guys, Eason, like, to make those plays for you. I'm a little more confident in our guys, being that our playmakers have been there compared to Houston's with their playmakers not being there. It's going to be a dogfight because, like you said, those guys play hard. They ride for Ime Udoka. They play very hard on both ends of the floor. Like, they kind of got a little bit of that young Grizz to them. Like you said, like, they in your face. They're talking trash. Like, Dylan Brooks has also changed the energy of that franchise, just him being crazy. Like, and we know the beef that Dylan got with the city. Like, despite all that, we have undoubtedly the best player on the floor. We have the two best players on the floor. Some that you can't say with the other three teams that we mentioned. We have the best player on the floor, Ja Morant. We have the second best player on the floor in Jerry Jackson Jr. So despite all the ways that Houston can beat us, they can't beat the two best players on the floor. And I'm more confident in them in the playoff series, despite all the ways that Houston can't beat us. Because in that series, in contrast, what I said with the Nugget series, John Jaren can be John Jaren. I feel like they both can push us over the finish line. Honestly, like I'm not trying to speak down on the right. Like they're a bad team because they're a very good team. But I feel like if we have John Jaren both on 10, like playing A+ basketball, I feel like you don't have to depend on Edie and all the other guys and Jalen Wells and Gigi and Vince to be that great. Because those two guys can push you over the finish line. But in the second round, third round, yes, you need your collective guys. But simply because I feel like with the ball number 12 hands, I'm the most confident, especially against the Rockets. I feel like I'm okay. It's going to be a very hard series. Very, very hard series. That's another team that shoots the hell out of the ball from the three.
Right.
And we are not good to finish from the three-point line, but
who knew?
We are not good to finish the three-point line. But if we lock in defensively and play with pace and control, because the Rockets like to play with pace too, but sometimes when we play against teams that like to play with pace too, we get out of control, start turning the ball over and all that. Also, in the Rockets, you look at those games, they turn us over a lot those games because both teams are moving fast and we just can't we can't keep up with the pace of the team that's trying to match us in pace as well. Like you just running gun, getting up threes. Like in that matchup, you may need to slow the game down a little bit. And that's how I feel like we can, if our half court offense is working very well, I feel like we can do that. That's something that the Rockets don't have a very good half court offense. They do most of their damage, get up and down the floor. So it's all making those changes in matchups and strategies throughout the series. I feel like even if we don't do with Jingsby's talent-wise, I feel like we're better than that team. So I know it's all over the place, but out of all the teams, I'm not saying this would be it was going to be a cakewalk, but my confidence level against the Rockets is about an 8, honestly. In a 7-game series, I feel like we can get them in about six games for sure.
I want to see us potentially play them first for one reason and one reason only. Well, I guess you could say, no, I don't really care about that other reason. The main reason I want to play them is to me, they're going to be probably the most physical, the most aggressive, the most
in your face
doggish team that we can face in that first round. The Nuggets, they've been there. The Warriors, they've been there. We talked about we talked about the Lakers, they've been there. But none of them teams have like they experienced. None of them really just have dogs like that. And with us having an issue this year of toughness and showing that and backing it up and all this stuff that we know that we need for a Grizzlies team to get to the next level. Like if we're going to do anything, we probably need to get that brought up out of us. We need a moment to where
we get punched in the mouth. Who,
but somebody punches in the mouth and we punch their ass right back, square in their chest, their mouth, the top of their head, the back of their head, wherever you envision that happening. We need a moment, bro. Like we need a moment to change. And you know how I feel about this team as it is. Like we probably are a little too young. They didn't do what they needed to do to kind of shore up the roster to make it, I don't want to say a surefire championship contender, but you definitely want to push yourself forward. We didn't do that. So I don't know what this team, or what this year, holds for us. But if they got any chance of doing anything, they're going to have to go out there and have some kind of moment that's going to propel them to just a different stratosphere. Because right now, with the way that things are going, they kind of going through the motions in a sense.
Yeah.
They having these, good games here and there. Jaren, he pops off for a 31, but we still not beating, good teams. Ja has a 42-piece. We lose. Luke puts up 30, then you don't hear from him for 30 days. BC has a good game. He goes on PTO. Like they're going to have some moment that makes them lock in as a collective, bro. And I don't think you get that moment outside of a physical altercation. And that Rockets team to me is probably the best one that you're going to get because the rest of them teams just going to try to outplay
you and outthink you.
Yep.
And when you said that, it came to mind. And of course, in my grit and grind, like La La Land, because of what happened with last week a few days ago with Tony. You know the clip that they play in every one of the grit and grind packages? You know what that clip is that they always play, no matter who package it is?
The Clippers.
Yeah, the Zebo and Blake Griffin on the ground fighting.
Yep.
That when That's what we need. That is a type of moment we need to see in this playoffs, and hopefully even before the playoffs, if Lord blesses us. And like you said, I feel like the Rockets a team because the history is there. The animosity between the teams is there a little bit.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be Dylan Brooks and Dez.
But we need that. We made to get TJ thrown out of game one game, like because Ja getting killed. Like TJ get thrown out of game, and have your players defend you or something like that, or maybe Ja just need to dunk on somebody and just screaming like something. Man, throw T Moran out, like whatever. I feel like we need, like you said, a moment that kind of like pushes us over the edge. We're like, okay, F all this, we finna go hoop. Like we haven't had that moment this year. Like the only thing that like somewhat brought this to my attention that it happened this year was when we played the Lakers early in the year. And Ja and LeBron was going back and forth with the little boy celebrations, and Ja came right back. Like that was the only time this year I can remember it felt like, okay, F it, let's go hoop. Like forget all the X and O's. Like yo, we finna come right at you. And it took your best player to do that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we need to have that same energy, like where it just trickles down throughout the whole team. Like Cam Spencer, like. Talking stuff to KD and all like that's cool, but you don't want that coming from Cam Spencer, like who's not going to be playing. Who's not going to be playing. You need one of your key guys, like when Ja was going straight up with LeBron, and LeBron's keys, Ja said, get out, give me the ball. I'm finna go right at him. Like you need those type of moments that can like push your team over the edge. And when you brought up that point, it brought me back to that clip of Zebo and Blake Griffin final on the floor, and I feel like the team needs it. I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like it's a really good point that not a lot of people thinking about.
Yep. If they don't, we'll see. I said before, like at this point in the season, my emotions are out. I'm rooting for them. I want to see, where they end up. But yeah, it's gonna take some different energy, I should say.
Energy got to shift.
For them to get to where they're trying to go, that's gonna be number one. It's not, I talk about scheme, I talk about coaching, I talk about all this other stuff. It's got to be some type of energy shift, and I hope that it's a moment that presents itself soon, and if not soon, definitely, like I said, first round, it's gonna be needed for sure. Jalen Wells get thrown out of the game. Somebody, Mr. Wells get thrown out of the game. Somebody.
Yeah, Mr. Wells, because
Mr. Wells triple reps up. I don't know.
Because y'all son be getting his ass beat. Like Jalen be getting lit up, bro. Like, oh my, talking about John not getting called. Jalen Wills be getting hit in the face, in the head, in the ankle. Like, somebody got to stand up for my boy Jalen. Like, he just a rook, bro. Like, if Jalen Wills got to go off for somebody, bro. Like, shoot, I feel like it would do some good.
Yeah.
Like, you need that. You need that. You need some of that energy back. Like, and this last thing I'm gonna say, like. In those grit and grind days, like you didn't need to try to find that because Tony would go off on somebody, Zebo, Mark would curse somebody out in Spanish. Like you've had guys like Jared Bayless and Wayne Ellington, even the guys on the bench like carried that same energy. Even when Lana was there, when David Fizdale was like David Fizdale got fined a whole lot of money because take that for data rent. And he didn't care because he felt like his guy was getting slighted. And you see, we came out with energy the very next game against the Spurs in that series. I'm just saying, like, somebody has to light this fire on this team because right now, with guys taking games off and coaching this and scheme that and rotations, like, I just don't see the fire yet. And I feel like in the playoffs, you need that. And until we find out, I feel like we'll be in a lot of trouble, whoever we play, until that fire gets brought out.
For sure. Well, that's all we got for y'all this week, man. Got to see them guys get it together for sure. We got some news that Ja is going to be out tonight. If you're watching this on YouTube, he'll be out tonight due to some hamstring sore. Yep. Santi is doubtful, so we should see him coming back sometime this week. Definitely got to get these guys together for this last stretch to kind of whatever Jenkins is going to throw together at this point, this is the dress rehearsal for it. So excited for this last stretch. Playoffs is coming soon. So yeah, that's all we got. We finna get out of here tonight, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in. 1 year anniversary, man. Y'all, we got more coming for y'all for sure. So y'all keep rocking with us, keep riding with us, and we will see y'all next week. And as always,
thank you for listening to this episode of the No Bluffing Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.